Are you looking for a low buck lightsaber? Is the SIMDER Cut50 the right plasma cutter for you? Let's check it out in this 15-minute tool review. Let's go. All right, let's get right into this. So this is the SIMDER Cut50 Plasma Cutter. This was sent to me by SIMDER, and they said, hey, give this thing a rip. They kind of posed it to me that this was like an entry-level budget machine for the garage builder, and supposedly this thing will clean cut 1/2 inch steel. So I am absolutely going to show you that in this video, and it's either going to do it or it's not. As you see, everything is in a package. I have not touched this machine. I have not plugged this machine in. The only thing I did was assemble the regulator that goes on the back, and I'm going to show you guys that. So let's discuss it just very briefly. Packaging. This thing weighs almost nothing. It is literally like, this is 2 fingers. I mean, I'm not going to weigh it, but I would say this is sub 10 pounds total. If it was 10 pounds, I'd be surprised. It does come with a 120 to 240 adapter for us US guys, and I think in Canada you guys use the same thing. Standard 50 amp plug, right? I think that's a NEMA 50. So you can run it right out of the box. You don't have to change anything on it. You just plug it in. Should be voltage sensing. We're going to try it. Comes with a clamp. One issue off the bat is this thing says the owner's manual is for a cut 30, a cut 40, or a cut 60. This is a cut 50, so I don't know if maybe it's just the controls are the same or whatever, but when it tells you capabilities in here, duty cycle, thickness of steel you can cut, it doesn't reference the 50, it references the 40 and the 60. So we'll just kind of have to wing it. I'm just going to max this thing out, and we're going to find out together. So, what else? This thing comes with this torch. This torch looks like a standard PT31. Oh, it actually says it right on it. PT31. I don't know if I can zoom in, doesn't matter. The consumables for this, super inexpensive. This is what almost all of the sub 60 amp plasma cutters come with. This works with, I believe, the high frequency start and the non-high frequency start, meaning if it's pilot arc or not. This machine I do not believe is pilot arc. We're going to find that together. It comes with an extra tip, an extra swirl ring, extra cap, and an extra center electrode, right? Just one of each. But like I said, these things are like PT31 torch is super cheap. So if you guys are like, I want a budget machine, maybe this is your budget machine. For some reason, this thing comes with a metric ton of clear tubing. Comes with Teflon tape, and it actually does come with quick disconnect that you can use if you do not have a setup for a compressor already in your house. If you do, I would suggest use a compatible nipple. I always carry a bunch of them in stock so I can run any machine I want, just hook it up to mine, right? Run my compressor. So let me get you off the stand. I'm gonna walk you around it real quick, and then we're putting this thing to work. All right, guys, this is what the package looks like. Now, this sticker is already falling off the machine, and it is not put on there straight. Does that matter? Probably not. Standard. Oh, that's actually, I thought that was vinyl. That's actually painted on. That's not that matters. This is the setup on the back, right? Comes with this regulator that's got a dryer in it. It is adjustable up and down. Came with the gauge, and it comes with push lock air fittings. So I've never seen that on a plasma cutter before. We'll see how it goes. Does have a cooling fan, big on-off switch, and the on-off switch has a boot, almost like it would be waterproof, but obviously you do not want to get this wet. So let's just cut the nonsense and get right to some lightsabering. All right, guys, here she is running. Now, something I found interesting. If you plug it into 120 volts, it says the current available is 54, set to 10. I'm like, that seems weird. Okay. I'll plug it into the 240 volt outlet. It still says 54. I don't think this is going to do that kind of current on 120. So I'm going to run this machine both ways for you guys, and we'll just see what its limits are. So I'll run it 120 first, and then we'll do basically 240 volt. All right? All right, guys, here's our setup. So we got 16 gauge, we got 3/16, we got 1/4 inch, and we got 1/2 inch. Now, there's a lot of kind of weird verbiage, right? So you go on Amazon and you look up the machine and it says that it'll clean cut 1/2 inch and it will sever cut 3/4. And then as you roll down in the description, it'll say it'll clean cut 1/4 inch and it will sever 1/2 inch. What we're gonna do first is we're gonna go through front to back with 110 volts, see how far we can get. We're gonna let the machine cool down. We're gonna swap it over to 220 volt and I'm gonna run it. And then we'll just give you a conclusion, right? Quick and dirty. All right, so what we got first is 16 gauge. Now, obviously, if it can burn 16 gauge, it can certainly do your sheet metal for car repair and easy stuff like that, right? This machine is sub 150. So, I mean, I'm honestly not expecting much, but let's just see how it goes. I mean, pretty easy. Let's take a look. A little bit of dross, not much. But that's pretty good. All right, so let's move on to the 3/16, right? Kind of hanging in there. Here we go. This thing initiates an arc kind of funny. It does have an adjustable purge. Okay, now, it barely clean cuts 3/16, but that's at 110 volts. This in itself is actually fairly impressive. I don't think it's gonna do much on the 1/4, but let's give it a shot anyway. I don't even think I'm gonna bother with the 1/2 at the 110 volt. And honestly, this thing would have a very low duty cycle at 120. So if she cuts this at all, I mean, not so bad, right? All right, here we go.
What just happened?
And it's dead. I think I tripped the breaker. All right, guys, so what happened there was going through the 1/4, this thing tripped a 20 amp circuit. So I would say maybe the machine's capable of running maybe 30 plus amps on the draw. The cord is a 15P, a NEMA 15P, so technically it is configured to only run on a 15 amp circuit. It'll draw more than that and you're gonna trip your breaker. But it does cut 16 gauge fairly easily. And it did do 3/16, which is actually impressive on 120 volts. And let me get you in here. It was cutting the 1/4 inch. And then the breaker gave out. So I'm cooling the machine down. It fired right back up. It did not thermal the machine. It thermaled the breaker. So I'm gonna let this thing run the fan, cool it down. We're gonna swap to 220 and then we're gonna get after it. All right, guys, here we go, back after it. We're gonna do the same order. We're gonna go 16 gauge, 3/16, 1/4, and see if we can do some 1/2. We'll give it some time in between. This is on 220 now. I use the adapter that came with it and it's plugged into 220. So here we go. Still got dross, does the job. I mean, it's pretty good, but it does have a lot of dross. I don't think it's going to clean cut half, but we're going to try it. Actually, I may be mistaken. I think this thing is going to do the half. Got a little dross, but I mean, that's to be expected. Oh yeah, you can knock that right off. Look at that. That's not bad. $150 machine? Like, man, I mean, that's not bad. Wow, okay. All right, guys, I got to get you in here to see this. Let me get you off the stand. Look at that. That's not bad. I mean, short of my shaky hands, but wow. Okay, this is 1/2 inch thick. All right, wrapping it up. So, will it do what it says? It does. It will cut cleanly 1/2 inch. I'm not going to bother whooping it on 3/4 because no one's going to cut that with this little machine, and it will sever cut, and that's a mess anyway. So, average garage builder, are you cutting 1/2 inch plate? No, you're not. What are you going to cut? Probably 1/4 inch, maybe 3/8. This thing will go through that. Looks to be fairly easy. So, what do you get? You get the machine, thing's 11 pounds, weighs nothing, PT31 torch. Cheap consumables, guys. That's the advantage of these torches. Most of these import plasma cutters use the PT31, and the consumables are extremely inexpensive. It's not like buying them for my Miller Spectrum. These are very inexpensive. So, comes with a regulator, comes with a hose for the regulator. It does actually come with a quick connect as well. If you don't have one on your hose, I would suggest you use your own. Fan runs all the time. It blows from the back to the front. Does have a digital display. This comes with a NEMA 15P, so technically it should only be on a 15 amp circuit. It does draw over 20 amps because it tripped my 20 amps. So just something to be mindful. If you're in your garage and you got 120, you might want to dial this thing back. You know, you're going to cut 1/2 inch with it? Absolutely not. Short bursts on 1/4, yeah, maybe. Sheet metal all day, right? It is a lift start. Not a super fan of lift start. I do like a pilot arc, but does work. Little wonky unless you're used to running it. If you watched me in the videos, I maybe lift it up too high and you're going to lose your arc. So that is acquired muscle memory as far as your height goes. So in the end, sub 150 bucks. I think this thing's like $150. Prices vary, goes up and down. Things on Amazon. I have a link in the description if you want to use that. Hit us up on Facebook. Hit us up on Instagram. Mad Ginger Customs. You'll find us. You know, we do some reels on there. We do a bunch of pictures of stuff we're working on. So if you guys want the inside scoop on the stuff we are working on. We're going to try to make these 15-minute tool reviews as supplemental videos in between our normal videos, guys. This isn't going to be our normal weekly thing. We'll pepper them in a little bit here and there. We're going to try to find you guys some inexpensive things that do the job. And this is about as inexpensive as it gets as far as a plasma cutter goes. So if you're a garage guy, this might suit you. Thanks for watching.